I'll just go ahead and get into the winter weather. That seems to be a lot of the questions for us, at least. As far as shelters, the Salvation Army has a shelter going on. Backyard Midland, along with True Light Fellowship Christian Church, has a warming shelter going on. And we've provided support and resources to them to continue their operations. As far as medical needs, anyone who has any medical needs can contact the Red Cross, and they will get them set up. We have the capability here at the county and the city to open shelters if needed. But right now, the local community with the Salvation Army and other organizations are keeping it pretty good. So at this time, we have no intent of opening up a shelter, but we do have the capability and the resources to open up if the need arises. As far as the county's close today. We've had some issues with fire sprinkler pipes busting, along with other organizations in the community. The fire department was up all night last night with frozen hydrants and frozen sprinkler systems throughout the community. So as we go through this winter weather, we just want to encourage the citizens, if you do have power, reduce your consumption, because there are folks that have been without power. Myself, at my house, we've been without power for over 24 hours now. So I know there's a lot of people in the community that still don't have power. Other than that, we're just working with all the local partners, Atmos, Encore, everybody coordinating with them to make sure that we can get through this and get everybody needs met that have anything needs. Other than that, if there's any questions.
Caitlin Randall with the MRT asked, do you know what the capacity of the current warming shelters is and what the occupancy is there?
I can tell you, Salvation Army, last time I talked to them, they had about 77 folks in-house. Their policy and plan is that they will not turn anybody away. So they've actually put several families up in hotels. One thing we're having an issue now is the hotels are starting to get full. And a couple of them last night are the ones where the pipes busted. So they're without water. So we're having to work around that. But right now, like I said, the Salvation Army has about 77 folks. True Light, when I dropped off some cots last night around 10:30ish, they had about probably 15.
We'll see if they have any follow-up questions off of that. Mitch asked, like you said, Justin, many are still without power. How will the county determine when another shelter should be opened?
The trigger point for that is basically what we're getting calls from either our dispatch center or what the fire department's responding on, and also what the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, and the other local shelters are telling us. If they get to where they're getting overwhelmed or can't meet the needs of the community, then we'll step in. Like I said, our plan right now is just to support them as much as possible. We've helped with some meals at some places, cots. We've made arrangements with other organizations to open up if need be, but we don't want to open up a bunch of shelters and nobody show up, or we just have a handful of people. Because one thing we're strapped on is resources, just like everyone else. We're trying to run 2 vaccination sites, and if we get into the shelter business, it's really going to tax us. So as long as the local community can handle that, we're just going to support them with resources.
Is the county helping those shelters with a plan to manage COVID spread? Will there be testing at those shelters?
Not testing. We have offered PPE and different things, but other than that, no one's requested the PPE that we've offered because they have plenty. But the ability to provide that is there. But right now, no, we have no intent of providing testing. I mean, I guess if they did call and need someone tested, we could probably get that done. But actually going to the site, we have no intention of opening up a testing center.
Okay.
He's on a press conference.
I think that's it, Justin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now I'll turn it over to Mayor Payton.
Well, good morning, everybody. And I think that everybody's fully aware of where everything is. I know that for most of you on this call, you maybe have the same thoughts that we had earlier in a conversation with a group of us when we said I thought we'd gotten past 2020, but it doesn't look like it. But I want to just start with the question that Mitch asked about determining other shelters. We are preparing and have already prepared other shelter locations. We're just waiting on whether or not those need to be opened. We won't disclose those details of where those shelters are right now. It'll be fairly obvious if we need to, where they are. But like all the shelters that Justin has already mentioned, some of the ones, some of the churches that I've talked to who might be willing to offer their churches, neighborhood churches as shelters, they're having the same problems everyone else is having, which is the really arbitrary power outages that we have zero control over. And they're power outages that we're having all over the city. It's north, it's south, it's east, it's west. And we're really at the mercy of Encore and what they're doing and what they're trying to keep up with the entire state. It really is an entire state issue that Atmos and Encore and everybody is dealing with. And so really, from a city perspective, there's really only a couple of things that we can do. Number one is let everybody know we're doing everything at the city, and I know the county is doing everything they can do. But much of this is out of our hands as far as who has power and who does not have power. In fact, all of it is out of our hands. But we can just encourage people to please do everything they can to keep their power usage down as much as possible at the business level, at the residential level, just to keep your power usage down. And that'll help us as much as possible. I know several people on this phone call who have not had power and not had hot water in the last couple of days. And so it's happening literally all over the city and all over the county. Stay home as much as possible. And really a very sort of kind of obvious thing is, as I was driving around the city yesterday, just paying attention to what's going on, you noticed even stoplights, and there's so many stoplights that are out that our police department is not able to keep up with those. And so even if, as you're driving around, just pay attention and realize to treat everything like it's a stop sign, and just be doubly careful when you're out there and when you're driving. There's not much else to say. I'm sure there might be some questions that you guys have with me. I've already talked to Congressman Pfluger about some actions we may need to take after we get out of this and after we fight our way through this at the state level and at the national level, so we don't see ourselves in this position again. But those are conversations to be had after we get through this weather issue and after we get through this crisis. So I'll just take questions and see where the conversation takes us here.
Okay,